Disaster Relief, and their number is 904-253-9924. And both of those groups, like I said, can do debris cleanup, mucking, tarp installation, and mold remediation. Escambia County is looking to begin curbside removal of debris generated by Sally on Wednesday, September 23rd. This debris will be should be sorted and placed. We do have a graphic that we have available, and we'll make sure that you all have it available as well in different media sources and also on our websites. So the county's divided its county into 3 different zones, and what we've done is we've asked 3 different companies to help us accomplish getting this debris removal done in 90 days. As many of you that were here know from Ivan, it took a lot longer than that. We've specifically told these companies that we would like this to be done within 90 days. Escambia County is required to monitor and document the removal of all of this debris as in accordance with FEMA standards. And so the good news is this. We're working with Thompson Consulting Services, who will be our debris monitors, and we're holding a job fair. If you want a job, we have a job for you. This job fair is tomorrow we're going to be at the Central Office Complex. We are planning to be at the Brownsville Community Center on Tuesday. The compensation for this job is $1,000+ a week. You have an opportunity to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week if you like. And so here are some of the requirements for that job. You need to be 18 years or older and proof of citizenship or authorization to work in the United States. You need to have a driver's license and a safe driving record, and you also need to have proof of insurance. You can find the job application at www.hurricanejob.com, and you can also, we have a number that we will also post for you. It's 319-750-1026. As far as our infrastructure, Escambia County has 264 traffic signals that I've mentioned to you that are monitored by Escambia County and FDOT, and they have been assessed, and we have 244 of those are back up and running. We have 14 that are on flashers. We only have 2% that are still non-operational, that means 6 of those. As we've been telling you, Building Services has provided over 1,200 assessments of private structures, and they are continuing to work today. Our roads and our Parks Department have been out working. They have opened over 500 roads since midday Wednesday. Tomorrow, I expect all county employees to report to work. We will be open to the public at the Central Office Complex for Building Services, but other county public functions will be closed. I do also want to mention that ECAT and the libraries will not be operating tomorrow either. So at this time, I'd like to ask Superintendent Malcolm Thomas to come up.
Thank you, Janice. The school district is making good strides, made a lot of progress over the last couple of days. And I have to say, right from the beginning, that progress could not have happened without the efforts of a lot of people. Some of those are our internal workers in our own maintenance, facility, and custodial departments, as well as the other institutions that have been represented in this EOC. Gulf Power has been a great partner, been very responsive, helping us bring our schools back online, ECUA, working diligently to bring back the power. I did announce earlier today that we would not have any of our offices or schools open on Monday or Tuesday. That's September the 21st and September the 22nd. Although we're making progress, there's still work that we have to complete before we're able to reopen our buildings to our students and our employees. Our process is such that once the power is restored to a school, and I think we're down to 6 schools without power. That's pretty phenomenal when 3 or 4 days ago we didn't have a single school with power. So great progress there. We have still a couple of schools we're dealing with water issues. We worked through that. We've had some damage. Most of our damage, like so many in the community, is the superficial type damage. Trees down, sometimes blocking a drive, leaning on a building, awnings on bus ramps taken off. And so we have to secure that, take it down, put it in a safe location so that no student will be impacted by any of the debris or the damage. Our most significant damage occurred at Home Elementary School. We had a wing of the school that flooded This is the same wing that flooded back in 2014, so we will be relocating several classrooms from Holm Elementary and moving them to the nearby middle school, which is Workman Middle School. We'll be moving about 8 classroom locations at that time. Although we are not, the Escambia County School District is not going to be operational Monday or Tuesday, I should let you know that Pensacola Beach Charter School, which is part of Escambia County, they actually follow the Santa Rosa School District school calendar. So Pensacola Beach Charter School will have school tomorrow, but no school, no office in Escambia County. Tomorrow will be a day that we will spend, we believe we will have 100% of our schools hit power tomorrow. The next step in our process is that our principals with the power on are able to turn the lights on and go back and do a visual inspection. We've already done that 3 times, both internal and external. We've resolved the issues that we could see. If there's anything significant that's discovered tomorrow, we'll have tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and into Tuesday to resolve that. We also, on Tuesday, we'll put our route supervisors on the road to make sure that roads are passable in neighborhoods for school buses. I think we're doing a really good job on the major thoroughfares, but when you talk about transporting students to school, we don't stay on the main thoroughfare. We get off into some of the back roads and into the neighborhoods, so we will have those routes run physically in an automobile so that we can determine if we've got any real problems. If we have problems, our first action would be to reroute the students to a nearby stop or location. If it's significant enough that we can't do that and the students would have to go such a great distance, we'll work with Janice Gilley and the county to make those roads priority. Because the things that have to happen in order for us to start school, and we are going to start school this week. What we want to do is just get everything right so that once we start, we don't have to stop. So we have to have power on every school campus. We have to have water on every campus. We have to have all of our debris managed on every campus, and then the bus routes have to be able to be run for all of the students. I also want to make a note that the school board meeting that was scheduled for last Tuesday night, we had our budget hearing and our regular September school board meeting. Those had to be moved. Initially, we were moving them to Tuesday. We've had to change those, so the budget hearing for the school board will be at 5:01 p.m. on Monday, September the 21st in room 160 in the Hall Center. That's the normal location for the school board to meet. And then immediately following at 5:30, again on Monday the 21st, we'll have our regular scheduled meeting that we've already had the workshop for, and the board's prepared to take action on that. So there, I think we've dealt with most of it. Our families and employees should stay tuned. We will continue to send automated messages once we know more. As I said earlier, this is a dynamic situation. It's like putting together a puzzle. It's not just my part, it's the part of what the school district can do and others. We know that when we return to school, there will be an issue for students that are on remote and virtual instruction. So we're working on a plan. We will announce that plan later in the week, because we are not going to force remote students, virtual students onto a campus, because we still have to deal with COVID-19. So you'll hear more about that probably on Tuesday, and you'll probably hear more about when we're going to start school probably on Tuesday. So just be prepared. We are going to try to start school as soon as possible this week. Just got to make sure everything is set up and that it's safe and secure for all of our students.
Good evening. I'm Commissioner Robert Bender, District 4, Escambia County. Superintendent Thomas, thank you for the update on the schools. I want to start off a little bit about my day today. I was out in the neighborhoods around the Olive area with Representative Andrade. Unfortunately, the rain and the power coming back on, there weren't that many citizens that were out. So I do want to thank Marlene and Gulf Power for all the work they've been doing. A number of residents have asked me to please thank the linemen that are out there in the weather, in the rain, repairing the power. And so on behalf of Escambia County citizens, thank you for all that you're doing in restoring our power. We did have some tarps that were distributed earlier today. Those will be available at our pod locations tomorrow, as well as the Escambia County Equestrian Center, and there's also a limited number at the Ferry Pass Fire Station. Mayor Grover Robinson will talk about the locations within the city in a minute. I also need to talk about one of the things on the beach, the Bob Sykes Bridge. I am aware of the Nixle alert that just went out. I have been in contact with the city of Gulf Breeze as well as the engineer that is on the ground. Nixle should be sending out an updated alert. With that said, we would like for you to please proceed slowly when going across the bridge. This does prevent any damage from occurring, but the bridge is safe. We have an engineer that is out there as part of the bridge rehabilitation project that is inspecting the bridge hourly and taking pictures. There is support along the concrete slab supports the roadway. And so, again, our engineer went out again this morning, plus the one that's out there right now, and determined that there had not been a change and that there was no need to change the MOT, so how the traffic is currently moving. What we were asked to do is that we have skinnied the lanes to where there was around some of the erosion, and that also when a heavier truck comes in, we put them in the middle so that there is it reduces the likelihood of the vibrations reaching those areas that have eroded. So I would like to say right now, we do not plan on closing the Bob Sykes Bridge. It is safe to drive over. In relation to that, on the south side, we will start that work as early as tomorrow. That side, we aren't using it right now. I was able to inspect that. Even with the damage on that side, it was still allowed our fire truck, and I'm sure other vehicles that used the bridge when it was closed, that went on that southbound side, to get across and did not collapse. So even the side that is more heavily damaged still supported these vehicles, and we feel confident in the engineers that have inspected it on more than one occasion that it is safe the way we are currently operating. Now I'd like to introduce the City of Pensacola Mayor.
Robert,
We're going to take questions at the end, please.
okay. I'll have a question for you.
Sure. City of Pensacola Mayor Grover Robinson.
Robert, thank you. Certainly want to say my day was, for the first time, had a chance to, I think all of us are under some stress, do a little bit different. I got a chance to finally get out and walk, and it was nice, get my thoughts. The weather is unbelievable. I certainly think that today's Sunday, and I thank God for the weather we finally have gotten in the break in the heat. I also thank him for the power companies that are here, as Robert said, are doing an amazing job getting power on all over the city, and I really appreciate that. And finally, I want to thank FEMA and give thanks for FEMA and FDM. They have provided an awful lot of supplies and meals at this particular time. We gave some out today at the Woodland Heights I'm going to talk about, but these are some of the things that are happening in the city today. A lot of work is still going on. We will be reporting, all city offices will be reporting tomorrow for work. Check in with your supervisor because you may go to a different location. But again, everybody's going to go back to work tomorrow, and we're going to begin that process. But clearly, I want everybody out there thinking about. Also, this has been a long stress, and just we got to manage it, and that's what the city is continuing to do. First off, I want to thank the county for allowing us tomorrow to be here at 9:30 for my press conference. It seemed like most of you in the press were here already, and I don't know who all has power and where it has and virtual. So we're going to do the city's 9:30 regular press conference in this room. So we will look forward to being a part of that. For those of you that have done it, we will be here tomorrow. And I want to thank the county for allowing us to do that. From the city standpoint, as of 4 o'clock today, of the city's 92 signalized intersections, 82 are up and running and working. The other 10 are workable. However, they do not have power, and we expect that Gulf Power will soon restore those and get that running. All major stormwater ponds have been pumped down successfully, and stormwater inlets are being cleared by city crews. If you have the opportunity, I was doing some work at my mother-in-law's. She's got an inlet right at the corner. She lives on the corner. I went there and tried to rake all around it, pull it out. If you can help us with that kind of stuff, we'd greatly appreciate it. But our crews are out there doing it. We want to make sure that if there's rain coming, it's not going to threaten us in any way. So we just want you to know that we are working on that. Damage assessment of city buildings and facilities have been completed. The current damage estimates for city facilities is approximately $10 million. City parks and recreation facilities are currently being assessed for damage, and the damage assessments will continue into next week. 353 trees have been reported blocking roadways so far, and approximately 315 of those have been cleared. All remaining blockages will be cleared within the next 72 hours. Damage assessments of city waterfront assets are currently taking place. Preliminary damage estimates are expected to be completed within the next 48 hours. This is a reminder when it comes to sanitation service, black trash can. We will be doing only garbage on this week, but you will get 2 pickups. And I want to emphasize this for everybody tomorrow. If you are normally a Pensacola garbage customer for a Monday or a Tuesday route, you will get picked up tomorrow. If you are a Wednesday and a Thursday route, you will get picked up Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we'll do Monday, Tuesday again, and then on Thursday, we'll do Wednesday, Thursday again. So you will get 2 pickups this week of garbage. We understand a lot of you had to clean out refrigerators and so forth, so we're going to give you 2. We're not doing recyclables this week, but we are doing 2 garbage pickups. So please, if you're Monday pickup, Monday, Tuesday, you're going to have a Monday pickup tomorrow. This is a reminder that starting September 21st, which is tomorrow, the City of Pensacola will begin its pickup yard debris for residents curbside. The debris pickup will be scheduled, will be available by tomorrow evening. We'll have the schedule ready, so you'll know where we're going, and we'll be able to disclose that tomorrow. Please do not place yard debris in plastic bags. You can just take it straight to the corner. Yard debris is already bagged at the curb, will be collected, but the plastic bags prevent the debris from being processed as yard waste. So we really look for your yard debris. Just put it out on the street. Don't commingle it with other damaged stuff. Just we need your yard debris. And again, put it on the curbside loose or in paper bags, and it will get picked up. Items that are not collected on first pass, please push them to the curb, and they will be collected on second pass. So again, please just put your debris out there, and it will get picked up. Relief programming, as I said, I want to thank Eric Gilmore very much. He got us several tarps. You heard what was discussed. We gave out 300 tarps today in 15 minutes. So we are getting more tarps, and I really appreciate the county helping us get that. The other thing that we did was the county was very helpful in us getting food to Woodland Heights and a feeding station there with the Salvation Army. We were able to provide a lot of meals. I was with them today at the Pensacola Village. We are still working with Gulf Power. I believe on the map it showed that the Pensacola Village will have power, or scheduled to have power tomorrow. So we're continuing to work on that. We are also efforting with the county to see if there's any way to get ice there, and we're continuing to work through that. We will have tarps. City Community Resource Centers will distribute tarps and water while supplies last on Monday, September 21st at the following centers from 2 to 5. We are limiting 1 tarp per household. We will be at Bayview Senior Center. We will be at Cobb Resource Center, Gull Point Resource Center, Fricker Resource Center, and Woodland Heights Resource Center from 2 to 5 tomorrow with tarps and water. Mass distribution will resume Monday, September 21st while supplies last. Parks and Recreation will be sending out more information. After school snack distribution will also resume Monday, September 21st, and it will be Monday through Friday from 3 to 5. Parks and Recs will be sending out more information. And I will say, I certainly appreciate what the superintendent said. We're all still dealing with COVID, and I'll talk about some of this tomorrow, but our COVID numbers have continued to come down. Today we were at 50, so that's the lowest we've been since June. So what you're doing out there and continue to fight that at the same time we're dealing with all these other things is great, and thank you for the work that you're doing. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got Marie Mott.
Good afternoon, Marie Mott, Administrator of the Florida Department of Health in Escambia County. I'd like to announce that County Health Department services in Escambia will be opening at their regular times and locations on Monday, September 21st. That's tomorrow. To find out information about what services are at which location and which time they'll be opening, please visit our website, escambiahealth.com. For those clients that have had appointments over the last week that have been canceled due to the storm, they can call 850-595-6554 to schedule an appointment. That's 850-595-6554. Vaccines will be available in our immunizations clinic. This could be very important for those who may have been injured due to storm recovery efforts. And you can schedule a vaccine appointment at the appointment line, 850-595-6554. We also have walk-in hepatitis A vaccines available at no charge, and those don't have to be scheduled. You can walk into the clinic and get those. That's hepatitis A. For those water utility customers who are still under a boil water notice, or for those who have private wells for their drinking water, please continue to take water illness precautions. That is, don't drink the water, don't use it to make ice, don't use it to brush your teeth or to wash or prepare your food. You can boil water at a rapid boil for a minute, or add 8 drops of household bleach to a gallon of water to help to decontaminate it, or if possible, use a source of safe bottled water. Our environmental health teams continue in the field to try to help educate and mitigate health hazards related to the storm. And we also would like to remind people that with the extended rain and flooding is an opportunity for mosquito breeding, so please be vigilant for sources of standing water on your property and drain those as much as possible. Wear an insect repellent or long-sleeved, long pants to prevent mosquito bites as well. If you are still running generators, I understand a lot of people are back on power, but if you are still needing to run a generator, please be aware of the dangers of carbon monoxide poisoning. So you want to keep generators out of enclosed areas and at least 20 feet from any open doors or windows. If you need any health information, you can find that on our website at escambiahealth.com. Follow us on Twitter at HealthyEscambia. And also, as a final note, we have suspended our COVID testing site for the storm, and that will be resuming on Tuesday, September 22nd. Thank you. Next is Gulf Power President Marlene Santos.
Good afternoon, Marlene Santos, Gulf Power President. So our team continues to make good progress. Overall, we've restored power to 90% of the customers that lost power as a result of Hurricane Sally. But right here in Escambia County, which was the hardest hit area of all, we have restored power to 80% of the customers affected. We continue to bring more crews into Escambia County. And we've had challenges today, as you know, with the rain and the windy weather, but our crews are still out there, they're still working. And in fact, we are now expecting that we will have 95% of Escambia County customers restored by the end of the day tomorrow, Monday, September 21st. So one of the reasons why we've been able to make good progress is because we were able to house our crews very close to their work areas. And I want to take a moment to thank those of several of our community partners that helped us to do that, because that made a big difference. The YMCA in downtown Pensacola, where we're housing about 350 linemen and women, Pensacola Fairgrounds, Pensacola State College, and Ellison Industrial. So thank you so much. That has made a big help for us in being able to get this power back on quickly. We'd actually also have to thank law enforcement. They have been amazing at escorting our crews so that they can get quickly and safely to their work areas. And thank you to the media for helping us get all these important messages out. I also want to mention that at this point of the restoration, if you see that your neighbor's power has been restored, but you have not yet been restored, please go ahead. First, check your breaker. And if that doesn't get your power back on, then please go ahead, go on the app, report the outage. And if you don't want to do that, you can always call us at 1-800-GU-POWER. Please continue to stay off the roads if you can, and if you have to be on the roads and you are near any of our crews, move away from them, or please drive very slowly to keep you and them safe. And finally, I'd like to thank our customers. You know, we have received some very nice accolades for our crews, and they're working really hard, and it makes a really big difference when they get those positive accolades. So thank you so much. It's truly a pleasure to help restore this community back to normalcy. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bruce Woody. I'm the Executive Director with the ECUA. We continue to request all of our customers to be mindful of the need to conserve water while there is ample quantity and pressure in the system. Our lift stations and wastewater systems are still being overwhelmed by what had collected in the system and ongoing inflow and infiltration related to the storm. So your assistance in being somewhat conservative in your use will help us as that continues to resolve itself over the next few days. We also have some discharge limitations related to that I will talk about in just a moment. We would also request that you not place your yard waste over the top of water meters as you bring them to the curb. Whether your yard waste is picked up by a FEMA contractor, the county, the city, or ECUA themselves, there will undoubtedly be some mechanical equipment used at times, and there's a risk that your water meter or other utility vaults could be damaged. That would even include your own irrigation equipment that might be in that area. So please try not to stack that type of material over those items that we want to protect. ECUA's phone system has been returned to service by our cable provider. Our customer service number is 850-476-0480. That's Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. And then our emergency after-hours number, 850-476-5110. Again, those lines are now restored and back in service. The first 186 rounds of samples that we needed to pull across the entire community and have tested as the first of a two-step process to remove the precautionary boil water notice. They were completed as planned and on time. Test results on those samples will be back later tonight, but early indications are all very good. Meanwhile, a second round, as required, of 186 samples across the entire community were completed by 3 p.m. today, and we expect those test results by Monday evening. If we get good results on both of those, we will be lifting the preliminary boil water notice. If there are areas that either the first or second test didn't come out, we'll have to take another test over 24 hours. We will separately isolate and identify those areas with our goal of obviously lifting as much of that boil water notice as we can across our community. On the wastewater side, I'd like to say that we've responded to 130 calls for service for customers, repaired 57 main breaks of various sizes from 2 to 8 inches. Our lift station crews have been working 16 hours a day, vacuum trucks and lift station staff as well. When this event started, we had 343 stations reporting no power, and we were using generator power wherever we could. At this time, we were down to only 66 without power, and most all those were covered with generators. I want to express our thanks again for the expeditious way that Gulf Power has gone about restoring power and their cooperation with us, addressing those locations that are of highest priority to allow us to provide services back to our customers. One item related to our wastewater I wanted to make you aware of, the ECUA has a 70 million gallon wet weather storage basin up at the Central Water Reclamation Facility. The purpose of this basin is it provides excess storage space for fully treated effluent before it's discharged to waters of the state. The purpose is during rainy weather, sometimes we don't have enough capacity for discharge as we have coming in the front door due to the excess water. As of 11:05 p.m. on Saturday, the CWRF began an intermittent discharge of this reclaimed water from the pond to a half-mile area of wetlands we have prior to it reaching the Escambia River. While this is the same location that these flows discharge to, whether our reclaimed water is going through our reclaim partners of either IP or Gulf Power, it is an alternative path than we conventionally use. Therefore, it is reported to the FDEP. Therefore, we wanted to inform the general public. But again, this is fully treated, rated for human contact, public access reclaimed water. So it's also used for irrigation and other purposes as well. So there's no environmental concerns. The only difference is the path by which it is reaching the river. Instead of flowing through some of our customers, it's flowing through our wetlands before it gets to the same body of water. The sanitation department did complete all of its trash routes by 5 p.m. Saturday, and next week we will be on our regular schedule. That's the green cans. Again, we're only collecting trash only at this point. No recyclables while we're making repairs to our materials recycling facility, and no yard waste until the details are worked out with FEMA on the process by which that'll be done in coordination with the county. Again, I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Department and the Pensacola Police Department for their assistance in escorting our sampling and testing crews while they've been doing the work the last 48 hours. And especially thank you to our ECUA customers for their patience and understanding as we've been recovering from this event. Next is Pensacola Area Chamber Executive Todd Thompson.
Good afternoon, Todd Thompson, President and CEO of the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce. Just a couple of quick items as those of you who have received damage on your homes. We've already seen some folks in our community that are going around and they're coming to homes and offering what they're calling a service. It's called assignment of benefits. Just make sure before you sign any document that you read it and fully understand. You are potentially signing away certain rights that would cut you out of some potential decisions with the insurance company. So please, this is called assignment of benefits. Thoroughly read any document and understand what it says before you sign it. And if you have any questions, you can go to CFO Petronas' website, preparefl.com. That's preparefl.com. Or you can call his helpline 1-877-MY-FL-CFO. That's 1-877-693-5236. And also, when dealing with contractors, make sure that the contractor is licensed with the state of Florida or Escambia County. Make sure you see that in writing. And make sure you don't pay cash for any repairs that are done. Make sure you get things in writing. Pay with a check or a credit card. Want to make sure that you're protected and you do things properly so don't have any negative impacts. Thank you.
All right. So I did want to mention that the Supervisor of Elections office is going to be open starting tomorrow from 8 to 5. We are still in the election/campaign season. I did want to also mention that the county still has a curfew on. It's on until Monday, September 21st, and it's from midnight to 6 a.m. And we are still continuing to monitor and evaluate that. And it is based on, the access to services and also power and things like that. I know that Administrator Mott mentioned the generators again. I did want to mention that we have had a situation where our fire crews did have to relocate a generator at a facility that was unsafe. It was a multi-residential facility. It was the Windermere Memory Care Center at 7901 Kipling Street. And we just want to make sure that everyone understands these post-storm fatalities are common. And we've also had some chainsaw incidents. So please be very careful when you're out there cleaning your debris and also working with power equipment. We always like to mention that our Citizens Line is available. It is 850-471-6600. What we do is we work with our partners here in the room and our partners across the county to make sure that we get your questions answered. 211 is available from United Way, and 211 can help provide you with food, clothing, medical, prescription, and sometimes financial assistance after this storm. We do encourage you, as more of you are getting power, to go to myscambia.com/storm center for information on all of these updates that all of our partners here are providing you. And we also have our Facebook at Be Ready Escambia and also our Twitter. We've all thanked each other. We've I don't know how much more we can thank FEMA and Department of Emergency Management and our federal and state partners, but we also want to thank our media partners. The media partners have been here at every briefing. They have helped us get the word out to you, and the ones that haven't been here, like a WWF, has also been able to provide that out to you residents on the air. So you don't get to see them. They're on the other side of this podium, but they have been here with us the whole time. And I'd just like to close by saying, I think all of us, those of us that were here for Ivan and other storms, we are really appreciating the cooperation that everyone is having. I hope that the community is cooperating out there with each other because that's how we'll all get restored quicker. So with that, we'll be happy to take questions.
What's the status on the FEMA major disaster declaration?
So part of that declaration is when those teams went out today, those teams, they are continuing to gather information. So last night, Escambia County provided our initial estimate along with our numbers, some private structure numbers, and also the city's numbers, and it was $139 million. That's what we submitted last night. But that did not include bridges and things like that. So there are still some pretty substantial items to go in. And then those teams that are going around will continue to add to those assessments, that damage number. So we do not have the major declaration yet, but I would say that I think it's a very good sign, in my opinion, that I did get a call this morning to ask for office space for a FEMA team to come into Pensacola. And it's also a place where FDEM would co-locate employees there as well. So it does sound like they're committed to being here with us for a while.
Janice, what are the 3 debris zones, and who are the contractors that are in them?
Okay, so we have one zone is I-10 North. I'm happy to provide a map. We'll be happy to put that on the website. But one zone is I-10 North, and that will be Roads Inc. There is a zone that goes through the middle of our county, I-10 South to about Highway 90. And it also covers Pensacola Beach, and that will be Panhandle Paving and Grading. And then on the west side of town, which I would say is, Inner Rarity, Perdido Key, Lillian, Navy Boulevard, those areas, that is Ashbridge. So those are the 3 companies. We have provided them a notice to proceed, and what they will do is they will come back to the county within the next 48 hours and provide their plans on how they will then subdivide their zone into areas. So
Any kind of minority inclusion?
So we have had conversations with each of those companies to talk specifically about local contractors, and that our board is 100% committed to ensuring that there are local contractors, with them also minority contractors. The other thing I would mention in regard to that is this job opportunity is real that I mentioned to you earlier. We need a couple of hundred of these debris hauler inspectors. They're monitors basically, and they are required by FEMA. So we need those people, because if they're not there monitoring the debris haulers, then we can't. The haulers can't necessarily pick up and continue to move on. So it's extremely it's a very technical process at this point, but we need those people.
So how many did you say you think you need?
This morning, I was being told between 275 and 300, and so I think $1,000 a week is a nice salary, a nice income, and so everybody feels like there would be a guarantee of a lot of work.
And how much are those contracts worth each company? How much?
So whenever we did our estimates of about, I think I told you 2.3 to 2.5 million cubic yards. And when we looked at the GIS and we did the maps, it turns out that actually one zone is about 34% of the county, one is 33%, the other one's 33%, right? And they came out about $12.2 million a piece. That's the initial estimate. Now that is just the debris hauling, okay? I want to be very clear. There are also things, the monitoring is on top of that, and also the tipping. So the contract is, what FEMA will reimburse will be more than just what each of the haulers would be getting.
Where were they? Do we have where they're going to haul the debris?
So actually we are still working with DEP because we have to make sure, all the water quality.
Do you have a problem with that with Ivan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we are currently in negotiations with, obviously, the Navy, because they were very helpful last time with Bronson Field. But we will not only have the commercial debris sites, we will also have the residential drop-off sites so that the residents can drop off, and then the haulers will take from there, to their other sites. So I hope to get that out to you. The only reason why we don't have it to you for tonight is because we are still working with DEP on that.
On the boil water notice, can you kind of clarify, when you get the test results back, will the boil water notice be lifted immediately as soon as you have the results, or what does that timeframe look like?
Can you repeat the question to the mic?
Sure. Question was about the timeline for us receiving information about the boil water notice and getting that out to the general public. It's absolutely our interest in doing that as expeditiously as possible. So we'll use media resources as well as our own website, probably Everbridge and other sources to get that information out as quickly as possible. In an ideal situation, we'd be able to lift it across the entire community. If we have a few tests that come back that require a third test, then we may have to isolate and identify small areas that would have to have a continued boil water notice for another 24 hours.
Robert, in the press release that we got sent out, the update we got sent out this afternoon, under the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the last clause says the current plan is to have at least one lane of traffic on the southbound bridge within 1 week. It doesn't tell us what bridge. Is that Bob Sykes?
That'd be the Bob Sykes Bridge.
Okay.
So we do expect work to be complete, to commence tomorrow, and that and we do hope to have traffic on that southbound lane within a week. And then, of course, once the southbound portion of Bob Sykes Bridge is complete, we will shift traffic all over to that and then complete the north side. So, again, does not seem like an extended repair project. It sounds like we're talking
Roughly the whole thing's about 2 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks is what we anticipate. Yes, sir.
Do you have an estimate on the damage of that, as far as like how much?
We expect the cost to be finalized tomorrow. I don't have that estimate right now, but it will be finalized tomorrow.
Robert, any status on the Woodland Heights getting a
Yeah,
pod there?
we decided not to go with a pod. We went with a food distribution.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Woodland Heights was the question. We went with a food distribution, and I really appreciate Eric. I think it was the right thing. We didn't need as much of that, but we did find out that we needed, and I appreciate the county giving us 300 tarps, but we gave out of them in 15 minutes, and we need more tarps. And they've got more tarps for us tomorrow, and I think we read off the different community centers that we will be having them. That will be from 2 to 5 tomorrow. We hope if you need tarps, you'll come to those, and Rick, I can tell you they're Bayview Senior Center, Cobb Resource Center, Gull Point Resource Center, Fricker Resource Center, and Woodland Heights Resource Center. So Woodland will be one of those. Woodland continues to be having some feeding. We went to the Pensacola Village today. I will tell you, while I was back here, I want to thank Gulf Power. Pensacola Village Apartments power is on. So I got a text while I was here that's happened. So those are challenges. Obviously, I was out there today. I talked with a lot of residents. A lot of them were curious about if they'd be able to file for goods that they lost. Obviously, that is all going to depend on FEMA and if there's individual assistance, public assistance, what we end up getting. So again, that is very important to us, why we're getting these totals, why we've been doing the work that all of us have been doing. It's been a long week. I know for everybody in the public sector, it's been a long week. But I tell you what, I'm impressed every day. The men and women I see that work for the city, the people I see at the county that are here, I've worked with them for 12 years. They do an amazing job. They're here to work for you, and we're continuing to do that.
All right. Thank you.